Did you know Cristiano Ronaldo was once rejected by multiple clubs, mocked for his skinny frame, and even told he wasn't good enough to play at the top level? What if I told you that his success was never about talent, but about the psychology of relentless belief? Did you know Cristiano Ronaldo's journey was never written in gold from the start? He was not born into comfort, not handed fame, and not destined for glory. He was a boy from Madeira, a small island where dreams felt too big for the narrow streets. But in that boy's heart lived something rare, an unshakable mindset. A mindset that whispered, no matter the rejection, no matter the pain, no matter the failure, I will not stop. This is the psychology of relentless success. And today we dive deep into the mind of the man who turned doubt into dominance, fear into fire, and pressure into power. This is not just football. This is human psychology at its peak. Every great journey begins with struggle, and Ronaldo's was no different. As a child, he was mocked for his skinny body. His teachers doubted him. Clubs overlooked him. Even at Sporting Lisbon, when opportunity knocked, the voices around him said he wasn't strong enough, fast enough, good enough. But here lies the first secret of his mindset. He never let the world define his worth. Psychology tells us the brain is wired to seek approval. Most people surrender when rejected. But Ronaldo rewired his brain. Every rejection became fuel. Every insult became energy. Where others heard, "You can't," he trained until "you can't" became "you did." That is the psychology of resilience. That is the birth of relentless success. Think of the nights he spent alone on the training ground, long after his teammates had left. The world was sleeping, but he was running. The world was resting, but he was sweating. Why? Because in his mind, greatness was not about talent, it was about obsession. Psychology calls this delayed gratification, the ability to suffer now for a future reward. Most players want comfort. Ronaldo wanted the crown. He was willing to hurt, to sacrifice, to break limits, because he knew success is not built in the spotlight, but every sprint, every push-up, every repetition was not just training his body. It was programming his mind. But the true test of his psychology came when he left Portugal for England. Alone, young, unable to speak the language, mocked again for his style of play, step-overs, tricks, flair. Critics said he would fail. Yet once again, he turned criticism into hunger. He studied the game. He studied his body. He studied his weaknesses like a scientist studies disease. That is the power of mindset, the willingness to adapt. He transformed from a skinny teenager into a machine of power and speed. This transformation wasn't luck, it was psychology. He believed identity is not fixed. You are not born weak, born lazy, born average. You build, you grow, you evolve. And Ronaldo became evolution in human form. Now think about pressure. The Champions League final. The World Cup stage. The penalty that could decide everything. Most people collapse under pressure. Why? Because the brain perceives pressure as threat. But Ronaldo mastered the psychology of reframing. To him, pressure was proof of importance. Instead of saying, "What if I fail?" his mind said, "What if I win?" That single shift is the secret to performing under the brightest lights. Psychology calls this cognitive reappraisal, the art of changing the story in your head. And in Ronaldo's head, every challenge was destiny calling his name. Look closer and you'll see his rituals, his diet, his sleep, his recovery. People laugh at his discipline, but discipline is the ultimate freedom. The psychology of habits tells us success is not about motivation, It is about systems. Motivation fades, but habits remain. Ronaldo does not wait to feel like training. He trains because it is who he is. His identity is built on discipline, and discipline is unshakable. That is why at 39, when most athletes retire, he still stands as a symbol of unstoppable power. So what can you, sitting at home, learn from the psychology of Cristiano Ronaldo? You may not play in front of 80,000 fans. You may not lift the Ballon d'Or. But you do face your own battles. Exams, careers, failures and rejections. And like Ronaldo, you can choose your mindset. You can choose to see rejection as fuel. You can choose to see pressure as proof. You can choose to suffer today for the reward of tomorrow. His story is not about football. It is about what happens when a human being refuses to surrender. Cristiano Ronaldo is not just a player. He is living proof that talent may start the journey, but psychology finishes it. The world will doubt you. The world will mock you. The world will try to break you. But if you hold your vision like he did, if you train your mind as hard as your body, you too can rise from nothing to everything. That is the psychology of relentless success. And it is waiting inside you. This is Brain Vibe 360. Please like, subscribe and share.